The Switch 2 has finally been announced and revealed to the world. Can you even believe it? A new Donkey Kong 3D platformer, one we haven't seen in 25 years. This is a dream come true. This is heaven. I've died and gone to heaven. This new console and all these great new games, it's all gonna be available for the low price of... What? What was it?
And it's going to cost $450. $450.
This is outrageous. It's unfair.
And that's just for the console itself.
Once I bought a Wii U, I made it run. Played some games in my time. Once I bought a Wii U, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a Switch?
What's up, everybody? This is the Homeless Man here, and today, the Great Gamer Depression is upon us. This is my Great Depression outfit. I'm gonna take it off because it is obnoxiously hot, and not just because I'm the one wearing it. Hey, that really sucked! So in a 2-hour-long direct, Nintendo revealed the Switch 2 and all the different features. They gave us a ton of info on the system, its upgrades, downgrades, those are important, a few brand new launch titles to look forward to, and a whole bunch of third-party support. 8 years ago, the Switch came out and started a new generation of consoles, and this is the dawn of a new generation. And would you look at that? The next Pokemon game? Looks like it's running off of a fucking GameCube. A time that should be filled with excitement, nerdgasms, if you will. But alas,
were it so easy.
Nintendo is asking you to drop $450 on a Switch 2. That is the baseline price for people in the US, though I'm sure it's all fucked up in different countries as well.
Oh my goodness!
People are understandably frustrated. What? Why? I thought you liked spending money. Don't ever stop consuming. You love consuming. Don't ever stop. But why exactly are gamers upset with the Switch 2 and with these price tags? Is it worth picking up? Do we even know if this will be the final price of the console? Is the price going to increase or decrease? Why are pre-orders in the US suddenly being delayed? Who's fucking with my video games, god damn it? Now, I do want to give my first impressions of the Switch 2 and talk about some of the more exciting stuff.
Introducing Game Chat. With this feature, you'll be able to communicate with friends and family while playing a game.
But we'll have to do that later in the video because right now we have to talk about the elephant in the room. Because in Nintendo's first live stream after the Direct, people were spamming lower the price in chat. Obviously, this is the biggest talking point on the internet for the Switch 2. Not just the $450 price tag, but also, brace yourselves.
Some games, including Mario Kart World, are going to be priced at $80 for the digital edition or $90 if you want to buy it physical.
Once I bought a GameCube, Luigi's Mansion, Melee, Wind Waker, and Prime. Once I bought a GameCube, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a game?
The $80 cost of a game. A single game. Why are you upset? Why are you upset? You love spending more money. You told me that yesterday, remember? Don't you know I'm gaslighting you? And this is all besides the other premium stuff and subscriptions Nintendo has been shilling in the Direct.
Everything's more expensive, right?
Yeah, the accessories are more expensive than they've ever been. The new Pro controller is $80. A left and right Joy-Con, that's $90 now. They're $13 for the straps.
I'm here for money. Money.
Obviously, a big part of this backlash comes from the fact that Nintendo has always been the accessible, budget-friendly option for gamers. Nintendo may not pack state-of-the-art hardware, but their library is unquestionably top tier. They are the family-friendly brand, the dads and moms. If you're a dad or a mom who've got kids you gotta pay for and take care of and send to school, you're gonna want the cheapest, most convenient thing if you want to retain some semblance of those youthful hobbies you used to have. Look at you becoming a parent. Look at this guy, he reproduced. What a dork. I'm so lonely.
For a lot of families, when they look at $500 for the game of Mario Kart, I think you're going to have a we have a Nintendo Switch at home situation.
But once Nintendo starts pushing this $80 price tag for these premium Switch 2 games, yar har fiddle-dee-dee, new piracy techniques are all right with me. Now, if Nintendo is able to get away with these $80, $90 price tags, no doubt Xbox and PlayStation in the competition are going to match that. They're going to adopt these higher price tags for more and more games. I'm not sure if it's 100% confirmed that physical copies are going to cost $90, but if true, fuck you. Why? What, you want to have a shelf of games? You want to physically own it so you can look at that shelf and figure out what game to play? No, stupid. You want a digital library of games that you buy that you end up forgetting you have. Despite how cool the console might be, the things I'm seeing that I love about it, Nintendo is kind of shooting themselves in the foot by setting these price precedents. But who is entirely to blame? Because I don't understand this, Nintendo. I don't get you.
I don't get you. Don't get you no more.
Excuse me, Nintendo's biggest fanboy here. Okay, Actman. Gamers are stupid. They don't understand, all right? Adjusted for inflation, this console is cheaper than previous Nintendo consoles. Games are cheaper adjusted for inflation than they were back in the 80s. These gamers are stupid. It doesn't make sense, Actman.
You know something? You're right.
Video games are a product like any other, though. They are subject to inflation over time, but most publishers for a very long time were too afraid to raise the cost of a brand new game past $60. Then it was $65, and then it was $70. But they found ways to monetize games in other ways, which we've talked about maybe once or twice on this channel. And the rest is history. As the co-founder of Costco once said, "If you raise the price of the hot dog, I will fucking kill you." This describes the sentiment among gamers around the $60 price tag. It's kind of something that's just etched into our being. New game comes out. Do I have 60 bucks? Like, can I afford it? It's been ingrained in our heads for so long that any increase seems insane, because we've also been dealing with loot boxes, battle passes, paid progression systems, and a bunch of other shit we don't need to get into. But guys, let's be real. I mean, you know, with GTA 6 around the corner, I'm sure Rockstar is going to stick with $60 price tag, right? Because why would they increase that? Now, let's put on our economy glasses so I can make sense of this for you. Let's start with the numbers. I like numbers because they don't lie. Thanks to the user JML Master, he has calculated the inflation adjusted price for each Nintendo console. And it's really not that crazy. The Switch 2 isn't middle of the road, but it's a little bit higher than that. It's still not the max, and it's not anywhere close to PS5 Pro's, what, $700? So what gives? Well, I'm going to throw some numbers up on screen of what gives. Basically, adjusted for inflation, the median income of a household in the US has barely gone up since 1985. House prices, meanwhile, have skyrocketed. What does this mean? It means people don't have disposable income.
Not enough cash, stranger.
That's why they're pissed. It's pretty simple. When more and more people start living paycheck to paycheck, then non-essentials like video games and hobbies become just that, non-essential. You will own less and you will be happy. Not to mention the incoming tariff sales tax that we're adding. Why do I have to talk about tariffs? Why can't you just let me be excited for a video game console? It's unfortunate then that real world politics could potentially drive up the cost of the Switch 2, and therefore I have to fucking talk about it. In a worst case scenario estimates I've seen, the cost of the Switch 2 could be increased by 50% by the tariff sales tax. Again, that's probably worst case scenario, but it says something that I feel like I have to prepare for that reality. Now, what has Nintendo done to prepare for these tariffs? Well, thankfully something. At the very least, they've started to stockpile Switch 2 consoles in the US, numbering about 350,000. So at the very least, the Switch 2s that are in the United States will be sold at the $450 margin, assuming. Some people have theorized that the cost is taking tariff sales tax into account. Upon looking at some recent articles, this is probably more likely, but who really knows what's gonna happen? Nintendo has updated GameStop, saying that they're removing pre-orders for the Switch 2 to assess the potential impact of the tariff sales tax and evolving market conditions. This uncertainty is only going to spark further panic and demand once pre-orders are reopened and once consoles are being loaded onto shelves, especially amongst the hardcore Nintendo enthusiasts who would be willing to sacrifice their firstborn child to get one of these things on the release night. With enough panic and demand, you know who comes back? Everyone's favorite sequel, everyone's favorite businessman, Scalpers 2. With uncertainty of how much this is going to cost, it's going to be ripe for the picking for scalpers, I would imagine. So there's another thing to look forward to. So we have no idea if the $450 price tag is going to stick. All we can be certain of is uncertainty. When people are confused, they get angry. It's really that simple. Regardless, this is going to be a bloodbath for people's wallets and bank accounts. I think gamers are more irate this time around because video games have always been an escape. I'm remembered of that Modern Warfare 2 video, how gamers dealt with the recession. And so with so many people already strapped for cash, they feel like they can't even afford the latest and greatest escape from life and reality. So that's most of the bad. Now, let's move on to the Direct itself. I think this is what also makes it a difficult pill to swallow, is that this new Mario Kart looks fucking amazing, all right? They added skating. What is this? Jet Set Radio Future? What is Tony Hawk gonna be a playable character? And wall jumps in a kart racer? Nintendo always finds ways to innovate on franchises that you wonder, like, well, what more could you do with it? All right, to be fair, I think Nintendo is running out of characters because now we're getting hyped for Cow, but from like Moo Moo Farms. There's a reason Nintendo opened with Mario Kart World. It's because Mario Kart 8 sold 75 million copies. No doubt, Mario Kart World is going to be a Switch 2 exclusive to drive sales to the console. It's a good strategy. The maps look great. The idea of being able to go off the track and race to the next race and just fuck around with your buddies, that's very appealing to me. Mario Kart World looks like a big W. What's next?
Introducing Game Chat.
It has taken Nintendo 23 years to catch up to Xbox Live. Nintendo is such a weird company because they're always behind on some trends, but way ahead of the curve on others. They're always at the peak of their video game development prowess, but when it comes to like something like voice chat, like, well, how does this work? Again, that family-friendly brand image, well, you know, voice chat on a Nintendo console? What could go wrong?
I live in Smethwick, Birmingham. If you want the fucking brawl, come down Smethwick Hospitality. I'll come out of my house and I'll break your fucking legs.
I love how Nintendo always introduces these social features in the most like whimsical, childlike, innocent way. And meanwhile, I'm like crippled by years of Xbox Live PTSD. So here's the bad news. You're gonna have to pay to use Game Chat. Now, I'll give them credit. Game Chat looks like it has much more applicability than something like Discord would have, where you can actually, like in Mario Party, see the expressions, the facial expressions of your friends as you fuck them in the ass and steal their stars. That's gonna be highly important to me as a huge piece of shit. So on top of the $450, $80 for the game, now they want you to pay a subscription fee to play the game online and to be able to use Game Chat. 2 separate subscriptions. I will say having a 10-month free period is great.
And there's this.
What is it? That stench. I've smelled it before.
Your voice is recognized by a microphone built into the system. It can pick up your speaking voice clearly, even from a distance.
They are bringing the Kinect back. You know what that means? It means you and your friends are going to be witnessing God-tier levels of echo.
When it's noisy around you, your voice will still come through clearly.
Bullshit. Ain't no way Nintendo is coming into the voice game chat this late and it's just gonna work. What Switch 2 screen share will look like? Yeah, probably. The fact that they're showing the screen share be a bit laggy indicates that that's probably what it's gonna look like, as opposed to, you know, having it look perfect in this presentation with the smoke and mirrors, and then people buy the console, they use the screen share, and it looks like shit. But this whole camera feed thing, I feel like is absolutely going to create some viral marketing for the Switch camera. So what I like about the Switch 2 is that Nintendo is refining their original concept and making genuine improvements in pretty much every way. From 120 FPS on handheld, that's kind of nutty. I think we're past the era of game consoles making these huge graphical leaps with new generations, but the Switch performed obnoxiously well despite how underpowered it was compared to the Series X and PS5. Everything from like the size of buttons to the magnetic grips, my controllers used to fuck up and couldn't connect on the sides, and Joy-Cons that can be used as a mouse. It's gimmicky stuff like this that really is gonna make for some hilarious Mario Party minigames.
My current location is actually inside the game itself.
Then there's Nintendo Switch Welcome Tour. It's me versus 2.0, my god. But it seems to be playing off of like Astro's Playroom, which was a great game and a fun tech showcase for the PS5. And guess what? That was free. This is not. What? But this doesn't even look like a video game. It looks like a series of tutorials. Why would I pay for this? Like, come on, man. Give us a free game with the console if you're gonna charge 80 bucks. Give us a free game or two. Like, remember Wii Sports? It came with the console. I do think it's cool that the mouse controller stuff seems like they're still utilizing that old Wii remote functionality, but it's cool. Now it looks like they're also doing upgrade games, you know, what Sony is doing with the PS5, where they're reselling the same game, but, you know, maybe a little upgrade fee for some pretty minute improvements. These are not all that impressive to me. Metroid Prime 4, oh my god, finally. Another game we could talk about that we're actually excited for. Metroid fans have been eaten like kings recently, and Prime 4 is likely going to be no exception. It's definitely the right call to release this on Switch and Switch 2, since it was announced before the Switch 2. Feel like a real slap in the dick if it were otherwise. I'm hyped for this. Pokemon Legends. Well, it's a massive improvement from Scarlet and Violet, which, you know, looked a little worse than N64 games. But Pokemon has finally gotten to GameCube level quality. Are you kidding me, dude? Not impressed at all with Pokemon. Then there was this oddball announcement for wheelchair robot basketball. Give it to me, okay? The sports genre side of gaming has been so static, repetitive, and boring for years. We need stuff like NBA Jam or NFL Blitz or wheelchair basketball or Rocket League. This looks fun. On top of this, Nintendo is partnering with a ton of third-party studios to bring games like Hogwarts Legacy, Elden Ring, Street Fighter 6, Hades 2 to the Switch 2. Also, I did not realize that Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 were getting remade, because it doesn't say it's a remake in the title there. Ah yes, the long-coveted GameCube emulator, which you can access for free using certain means. Do you like dolphins? I like dolphins. Yo, Soul Calibur 2? Okay, I fucks with that.
Get ready to experience F-Zero GX.
Could it be? An F-Zero acknowledgement after so many years. F-Zero GX. So this is a pretty decent lineup for the GameCube emulator. What would be interesting to see is if we'll be able to play these games online. Oh my god! To close out this show, Nintendo dropped 3 bombshells. Dusk Bloods, a new game from Software. People are calling it Bloodborne 2, and it looks incredible. And Kirby Air Riders, unexpected. Sakurai is directing it. There's a lot of racing games showed off in this direct, but Kirby Air Ride always felt like such an incredibly fun game that just didn't have a whole lot of content at the end of the day. That game truly deserved a sequel, and I'm happy to see that it's getting one. But now it's time for the big bananas. The big bananas.
Here we go. Oh my fucking god!
This game looks like it's gonna be the Mario Odyssey of Donkey Kong games. Just the way that you can break the map and destroy it and just become a monkey. I don't know what you want me to say. This looks like they're bridging the gap between Donkey Kong 64 and all the recent Donkey Kong Country games, which I could not be more excited for. But where is Diddy? Where is Diddy? No, not him. Also, I like how they showed just like 3 seconds of Silk Song after people have been losing their minds waiting for it. So here's where I'm at with Switch 2. The games look great. The improvements to the console itself are much appreciated. That stuff is important to me. But the increased price of games over time is going to add up. And I'm worried about that. Why are gamers upset with the Switch 2? Well, it's a combination of things, but it's pretty simple. Money.
Money.
Like I said, folks in the US don't have a whole lot of disposable income right now. And when times are tough, everybody needs an escape. If you can afford that escape, but if you can't, then you're just shit out of luck. If people feel like they can't even afford to escape, then that's a pretty worrying sign. And it's not so much a statement about Nintendo's prices, but rather the cost of living that people are dealing with. I thought the presentation was fun, colorful, creative. There's a lot of things to be excited for, but Nintendo is certainly making some questionable choices, and we'll see how it plays out. But those are my thoughts on the Switch 2 Direct. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the Act Man for more awesome content. All right, everyone, that's all I got for today. This is the Act Man signing out. Peace.